Y'all, it's Brian, the Rambling Tech, and today we're going to talk about how to get your Proxmox server set up for the first time so that you can have the best virtualization experience for all of your VMs and going forward in the Proxmox environment. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on my desktop. Alright, y'all, so now we're back on to my desktop. First thing we're going to do is we're actually going to use PuTTY to SSH into our device. So once you get PuTTY, you are going to, up here where it says host name, you'll put in the IP address of your device, if I can put it in. Mine is 10.101.202. I'm going to make the appearance a little bit bigger so that way y'all can see it a little bit. So we come in here, click 14, and then go back to session, make sure that's correct, and we're going to hit open. Then you'll come into your page right here where it's going to say login. You're going to log in as root. You're going to put in your password. And you'll get this. So I'm actually going to clear this out. To clear any of it, so if you've got a whole bunch of stuff on your screen that you want to see, just type in the word clear. Now, the first thing that we need to set up is going to be our DNS, because if we don't have a DNS set up, so if you set it up the same way in mine, where it had the loop back, so 127.0.0.1, we're gonna have to go ahead and update that. So to update your DNS, you're gonna go to nano /etc resolv without the E conf. That just stands for configuration. And right here you've got Nameserver, and it's going to give you the 127.0.0.1. This is known as the loopback. You'll go ahead, we can leave that there, and we're going to add a new line. And I am going to use Cloudflare's DNS, so that is 1.1. We're going to press enter. Then once we've done that, we're going to do Control-X, Y, and enter. Now we've got that set up, so we can just go back in here. If you press the up button, that'll take you right back to your last command, and it has been updated. So Control-X again. The next thing we need to do is update our repositories, because right now, if we're using the non-production Proxmox, so we need to make it so that we can update our version of Proxmox. This is going to use more of the beta versions, but that is okay. I've not had a problem with it. So first thing we're going to do is nano etc to get this, so we can get these repositories or /apt/sources. Sources list. All right, so once we are in here, I will put all these commands in the description line, or in the description, so that way you can just copy and paste. But the first one at the top, these are for your Debian configuration. So Proxmox is based on a Debian, so we still have to get the updates for Debian right here. That's what them first two lines are going to do. This next one is for security updates, and we are going to add another line. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom. We're going to add another line. We're going to do a £sign or hashtag, whatever you want to call it. This is a comment. So if you put anything behind that, it will not be read by the computer. This is for basically so humans can read it. So I'm going to do not recommended. For prod. Not recommended for prod. Then we're going to add in this line. I'm going to actually copy and paste this because it is easier, and I will mess it up. So if you're using PuTTY, you can't use the Control-C button. You actually have to use the right key. Click that. It'll be what you've got up there, or PVE no subscription. Make sure that it says that. Then we're going to do Control-X, Y, and enter. That will have updated that. The next thing we need to do is, by default, it wants to get the enterprise version. So we're going to have to go in and disable that. I'm not going to show you how to delete it out, or you can delete it out. I would say we're going to just mark it out, so that way if we ever do go to production, we don't have to reinstall Proxmox. So to get to that, we are going to go to nano etc apt sources list / PVE enterprise list. So, whoa, got the notes in there, y'all. Click that. Now that we're here, all we are going to do is use the # once again. And like I said, that is one of those things where if I type this in here, then you could do, it won't say anything. So I could put something like and subscribe. And it is saved there. So the computer's never going to see it, but that is one way for you to put notes into anything that you're doing inside of a Linux operating system. So we're going to go Control X, Y, and enter once again. Now that we're there, we're ready to run our first update. Now, if you did not go ahead and change your DNS, I am going to tell you, you will get some errors that'll come along where it's not working and it's saying they cannot reach the Debian or Proxmox or something like that. That's because your DNS is not working. So let's see if we got it set up right. So we're going to do apt get update, and it'll start counting and start looking at it and all of that. This might take a few minutes, so we'll see. I'm going to let it just go through, and I will fast forward this, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, we are done pulling all of those updates now. Now we've actually got to push them onto our Proxmox. So we'll go apt dist upgrade, so distro upgrade. We're going to do Y for enter. Now if you wanted to not have to press the Y button, you could have actually went and pressed, after doing apt dist upgrade, you could have went space -Y. This would have automatically put that Y in there. So we're going to let this pull down everything, and it'll take it a few more minutes, and then I'll be back in a second. All right, we are back. So that is finally done. The first thing we need to do, you can wait. I'm actually going to wait, but if you can do a reboot at this point, we're going to do a few more updates or a few more upgrades and stuff. So that way we'll just do a reboot at the end and everything will be ready to go. So the next thing, I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. So we got a nice clean stuff. You should have right down, where is it? Find it. You will have a success at all of that, as long as it will turn back if it was faulted. But once it's all said and done, if you want to clear and go back to the top of the screen, just type in clear and you're back up to the top. Now we're going to make it so that we can use the PCI devices that we have inside of our server. So we're going to do PCI pass-through. Now, a caveat to this is your device does need to be able to do PCI pass-through. So you'll have to look at the make and model of your device and see if it allows for PCI pass-through. If it does not, then you can go ahead and skip this one. Well, we're going to go in here and we're going to go to nano /etc /default/grub. Now, once we're in here, you'll see this line right here where it says command line or grub command line Linux default quiet. We're actually going to comment that line out and then come right here and press enter and go back up, or go to the end of the line and press enter. Then we are going y'all didn't copy the note. Give me a second. All right, so sorry about that. I couldn't find where I put my note there. So I finally got that. And we are going, like I said, we're going to comment that one out. Then we're going to add this line. So it's pretty much going to look the same, but if you notice right there, it's got outside of the parentheses, Intel IOMMU on, which means pass through. If you do have an AMD, I'm using Intel. If you do have an AMD, you're actually going to come back here and you would type in AMD. So, but I'm going to take mine back to Intel. And we're going to go Control X, Y, and enter. That has been saved. The next thing we need to do is we're going to actually add it so we've got it set up, but now it needs to know where to look. So we're going to update our modules so that it knows where to go. So we're going to go to nano etc/etc. Not that. Modules. Told y'all, don't judge my spelling. Yep, told you it's gonna mess it up. You gotta put a space. So once we are here, actually going to just come all the way down, and we're going to add in these 4 lines. I'm sure they're all in the line. We're going to go Control X, Y, and enter. Now that is set. Now that we're done, we're going to go ahead. That will be, for now, that's going to be all we're going to do inside of our PuTTY. So I'm going to go ahead and reboot my server. So just you'll type in reboot. It's going to tell you that your session has been unexpectedly closed due to network connection. That's okay. You can close out of this. Now, I need to come over here and go to my Proxmox server. So while we wait for that to come up, I'll show you how to kind of look. So I want to use command prompt to see when this device comes up. So I'm going to go ping.10.100.1.202, and I'm going to do /t. This is for continuous ping. So it is actually already up. If it was not up, then it would say yep, forgot. We'll move on. So once it comes up, you're going to, and this is the first time you log in, You are going to say, hey, this connection is not private. We do know that. The main reason it's saying this is because it does not have an SSL cert, but we're going to go ahead and advance and proceed. We know that it's safe, even though it says it's unsafe. And proceed. Once you get here, you're actually going to see that it says login. You're going to use that same password you use for SSH. So root, and then your super secret squirrel password. So first thing you're going to see is we have a not valid subscription. I will show you here at the end on how to get rid of that, but we're going to go ahead and click OK. Now we're going to set our network up so that it's capable of VLANs. Now if you don't have VLAN set up on your network, that's okay. This will just make it so later down the road when you do get your VLAN set up, your Proxmox server will already know how to select them. So we're going to actually, let's do our VLANs. So to do VLANs, it's actually really simple. I'm gonna go right here, or to data center, and where is it? Sorry. We're gonna go to PVE, and then network, right here. And we're going to look for the one that says Linux Bridge. Once we click on that, we're gonna go to edit, and we're gonna say VLAN aware. Now, we can go ahead if you wanted to and you only want to have certain VLANs, that's okay. You can do that per device, or you can actually go into your command line and add just those VLANs. I'm just going to open to all my VLANs, and then I can set it up on each server or each VM that I need to. So I'm going to click OK. Then the next thing we need to do is we're going to first go ahead and set up our backup share, or as an NFS share, so that we can back our server up, because you're always going to want to back this thing up, especially if you do any changes. So let's go over here. We're going to go to data center, and then we are going to go to storage, and we're going to add, and I want to add an NFS share. So I'm going to call this backups. I'm going to point it to my NFS share. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can actually do local backups, but I want to back mine up to a server in my network. So my server is 10.100.1.6. Let's see if it'll pop it up for me. And we're going to go to our backup one. Once we do that, we're going to go ahead and click add. And I'm going to add another one here just for my ISOs. I will show you how to upload an ISO to your normal, but it's always better to have it so if you do decide on a NFS share, that way if you decide to have multiple, a cluster of servers or cluster of Proxmox servers, then if you use a NFS share, it'll be across all boards and you don't have to sit there and add ISOs to every single one. So I'm just gonna add another one real quick. So NFS share, we're gonna call this one ISO. And then I forgot to do something. So this one, we're going to want to do ISO images, not disk images, and container templates. And we're going to say add. On our backup one, I messed up. We're going to go back in here and edit it. We need that to be VZD dump backup files. And you can take off that disk image, click OK, and they're ready for backups. All right, the next thing we need to do is set up our ZFS. So ZFS is what we're going, if you have some extra disk in your device, then you're able to add more storage. So to do that, we're going to go to PVE, and then we're going to go to disk and ZFS. So once we click on disk, it'll expand and go to ZFS and create a ZFS. Now, if you come in here and you see that it's empty and it doesn't have anything, or that you have more disk or something, or everything's not equaling out to the right space, then what you can do is actually go in and putty into your Proxmox server, or you can exit out of here. So show you the first way. If you wanted to just SSH or putty or go to your command line from inside of your Proxmox server. Then you can come over to PVE and go to shell. And this is actually logged directly into your Linux server using command line. I'm going to use PuTTY because I like it a little bit easier. So I've already logged in. And let's get in so it'll go to the screen. All right, so I'm going to go to fdisk and then the device. So I see right here, if I go to data center and I go to storage, nope, if I go to PVE and then go to disk, it will show me all of my disk. So I want to clear the partitions off of this device right here. So once I open up PuTTY, I'm going to go fdisk/dev/sdb. Once I'm in here, I'm going to select P for partitions. It'll show me that I have 2 of them. And then I'm going to go D for delete. It's going to ask me which one do I want to delete, the number SDB9 or SDB11. I'm going to go SDB9. You're just going to look at it and see what your number is. And then press enter. It'll tell me that it's been deleted. Then I'm going to go to D again. And it will automatically delete the last partition that we have. Once we are there, we're going to go to W. This will write it to the disk. Now we can log out of that. So now we're logged out of here. And if we actually reload this, you'll notice that SDB does not have any partitions. So I'm going to go back over here to ZFS and go create ZFS. I'm going to call this RAID 10 because I am going to do a RAID 10. I'm going to do RAID 10. And then I'm going to select all of them. And it's going to ask me for my RAID level. So I want to do a RAID 10, which is actually going, I do have 2 terabytes worth of space, but with the RAID 10, it is going to mirror it on, so take a terabyte from each and mirror each other. So this way I only have a gig of space, but it is redundant and backed itself up. So once we do that, it's going to take it a few seconds to grade it. That is done. Now RAID 10 is there and it is actually over here. So what I need to do is actually come here and I need to make sure that this is set up right. And we're going to go to data center, storage, and I'm going to go to RAID 10 just so I can make sure that I have everything that I need to put on here. I want it to be able to have disk images and containers. So this will strictly only be for VMs to run on. Will not be able to put any ISOs on here. That's okay because I just wanted it as image for disk for VMs and for containers. So that is verified. And let's get on to the next one. I'm going to paste this in. This is actually going to get rid of that description or that subscription note that comes up, that OK button at the beginning. I'm going to press enter if it'll take it. My Proxmox server just froze. We'll put it back in. Y'all, the one thing, make sure it's a password that you can type. So now that we are here and we're puttied back in, we're gonna go ahead and put this line in, come back up here, and we're gonna press enter. Give it a few seconds for it to think. Now that that's done, we're actually gonna just type in reboot. Not reboot, reboot. So now that our server is rebooted, we will come over here back to our Proxmox server. It's not actually going to come up. We'll give it a few minutes. and it should come back in. So the next time that you actually log in, you will not get that thing that says, hey, this is not a live subscription. That's just a way to get rid of it. You're still using the non-production, but you are able to not have that OK button. So that's how we get our Proxmox server set up. So like I said, if you like content like this and you want to learn more about Proxmox, home labs, virtualization, anything that you can think of, please like and subscribe, leave a comment on what you would like to see next. In our next video, I am going to set up a VM, probably do a Linux server and a Windows server, just so you can kind of see the difference on how you'd set those two different operating systems up. And then we'll go from there and work some other VMs and make an awesome home lab using just one device. So I'll see you in the next one.